Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Paul Roselli. I'm the president of the Burrillville Land Trust. We're one of the few representing the environmental and biological interests of the town of Burrillville. We're a non-profit private land trust in the town of Burrillville. We're not connected with the town, but we still have a good working relationship with the town. We've had that good working relationship for the past 17 years. I thought it might be good for the board and those members who are here today, those people who are here today, residents or not, to learn a little bit about the history of the town of Burrillville, particularly a history of industrial land use and the impact on the environment. Now, this is a picture of the state on the right-hand side, and up in the left-hand corner, for those of you who haven't been here before, or maybe this is your first time here, that's where you are right now. That's the town of Burrillville in the upper left-hand corner. Now, way back in the 1820s, the 1850s, and 60s, we used to see things like this. And there's a historical footnote here, because many of the things that we're talking about today, whether it be a power plant or whatever it is, if we went back just 50 or maybe 100 years, we'd see some very similar things. Smokestacks spewing toxins into the air, industrial pollutants and solvents all dumped into the river. We used to do that all the time. That was because the Industrial Revolution started in Pawtucket, but it was made perfect here in the town of Burrillville. It's because we have cheap water, cheap natural resources from out of state. Does that sound familiar at all? And then way back when, there was the promise of jobs, tax incentives for the town burdened with new infrastructure, needs due to industry growth. Does that sound familiar? This is 100 years ago. If we look back in those times, you know there was an increase in health issues, respiratory, cancer, neurological diseases. Remember, that was a time where lead and lead paint and lead oxides was thought of as not only a health benefit, but a requirement. You got to paint your walls with it because it's the best paint that money could buy. That made Rhode Island the childhood lead poison capital of the United States. At that time, all those issues, all those regulatory things were in compliance with existing environmental regulations. At that time, there was a town council complacent with promises of perceived tax benefits, but there was an increase in police, fire, and safety and other town personnel, all but wiping out any tax savings. Increases in fire, police, and safety equipment, all but wiping out any tax benefits way back then. And you know, there was never any tax or residential tax burden reduction. No one ever saw a reduction in their tax bill in the past 100 years from all this industrial growth. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. Right now, there's no plan for upgrading the facility to regulations of the day. So 10 years from now, if the EPA comes along, or Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management, and says that the regulations have to be stricter, there's no plan for that facility to upgrade. There's no plan once the facility is obsolete. There's no plan for remediation, no savings account to pay for all of this. So if your intention is to issue a permit, here's what I'd like you to do. Set aside $1.5 million each and every year for the life of the power plant. So that will be upgraded to environmental regulations of the day for the life of the power plant. Construct and have approved a plan. I want the EFSB board right here, you two, and once that other third person gets on the board, to make sure you construct and approve a plan for demolition and remediation when the plant becomes obsolete. I say that because all the textile mills here have become obsolete. I don't want this to be the next Superfund site. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.